Guys, this is going to be our class for today. We are going to see some basic concepts of physics. This class was meant to be like the first class, but I wanted the other to be our first class because it's way more complex than this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief history of physics. So at first, people depend on superstitions to explain how the world works, but they changed about 3,000 years ago. In Greece, people stopped trusting their old beliefs and decided to examine everything from the beginning. So as you can see here, they because they were so superstition, had a lot of superstition, they trust more in like the moon, in like comets or the stars. They were very with their eyes on the sky, always, 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 always. And depending what phenomena have the sky, they know if they can grow plants, if what I'm going to happen with the animals they have, and etc. etc. So we have here a brief plain thing that starts in 600 BC, where the Greeks were philosophers rather than scientists. As you can see, this all started in Greek. In Greece, the Greeks were philosophers rather than scientists. They have great ideas, but hardly ever did experiments to test them. Still, they made scientific discoveries. In this year, they discovered static electricity. They realized that when rubbing the amber against the wall, the stone magically broke the feathers. This is amber. According to legend, Magnus, a Greek shepherd, discovered the magnetic force when his foot was stuck to a mountain, as a magnetic rock called magnetite attracted the nails of his sandals. The Greeks thought that magnetite had a spirit that attracted metal. In 400 BC, the Greeks proposed the theory that everything was made of atoms, particles so tiny that there was nothing smaller. There was no evidence to prove such a daring theory, it was just an accurate guess. They thought that the shape of the atoms will explain their properties, so they assigned pointed atoms to fire and more rounded ones to water, as you can see here. We have fire, air, water, land, or earth, and this is like the sky. Here, in 350 BC, one of the first to think of gravity was Aristotle. He realized that bricks fell faster than feathers and concluded without checking that heavier objects fell faster. He was wrong, but an experiment was not done to prove it until almost 2,000 years later. These apples are with this. In 240 BC, most people thought that the earth was flat, as you can see here, even though today they still think the earth is flat. I don't know what the people is thinking, but none of my business. But the Greeks not only realized that it was round, but they estimated size by measuring shadows in different places. But since they did not know that the earth rotated, they believed that the sun and stars crossed the sky because they revolved around us. Because of this mistake, the Greeks thought that the earth was the center of the universe, and this idea lasted for many centuries. As you can see here, this is the model of Aristotle of the universe, not like the universe, but our universe. I know, very small. And the earth is the center of all, and the others are around us, as you can see here. In 1000 AC, the teachings of the Greeks were lost in Europe, but they remain in the Arab world, where the spirit of science survived. The Greeks thought that we could see because the eyes emitted invisible rays that returned after bouncing. In this year, an Egyptian named Alhazen discovered the truth. Light from the sun or fire bounces off objects and enter our eyes. In 1507, since Greek times, people had thought that the earth was immobile, at the center of the universe, with the sun and planets revolving around it. In this year, the Polish astronomer Nicolas Copernicus realized that it was easier to predict the movement of the planets if he assumed that the sun was the center and that the earth revolved around it and not vice versa. As you can see here, the sun is the center and the planets are around. In 1590, legend has it that Galileo dropped balls of different weights from the Tower of Pisa to show that they hit the ground at the same time. Although it is likely that he simply dropped them down ramps, this refutes the old Greek idea that the speed of falling objects depends on their weight. Galileo discovered that gravity attracts all objects equally, unless they are so light that wind can slow them down. And finally, we have in 1666, Newton went to live on his mother's farm to get away from the deadly plague that was ravaging English cities. One day in the orchard, he saw an apple fall from a tree. He began to wonder if gravity, the force that pulled the apple to the ground, was also holding the moon in place. So, based on what I just read, what is physics? Physics is just the study of light and matter. In physics, the scientific method is used to determine the basic principles that govern light and matter and discover the implication of those laws. Therefore, we can assure that there are rules that govern the behavior of the universe, since the laws of nature can be known. In principle, they can be used to predict the future of the universe. And we have this definition that it's more like bookish. I don't know how to say it. It's a science that deals with the fundamental components of the universe, with the forces they exert on each other and with the effects of these forces. So we have here the scientific method. The basic principles of the scientific method are: science is a cycle of theory and experiments. Theories can be predicted and explained, and experiments can be reproduced. So we're going to apply the scientific method into this exercise, but I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to do it off camera so you can do it with me, okay? So now it's your turn, la la la. I have with you this exercise. We're going to model one scientific phenomena using the principles of the scientific method because I know you need it. I know that you know that we know that you need it. So thank you very much for your attention. You're being so kind, blah, 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 blah. Remember to follow me at my social media. You can find me by, I don't know how to make up. So see you in another video and remember to leave a subscribe. Bye.